All right, just gonna go live here for a little bit. Oh, got some runners here, crazy one. So, like I said to you last week, definitely want to get out and walk, especially if you have some back pain, some sciatica, SI joint pain, whatever it may be, and try to at least get a couple miles in. Make sure you're checking your heart rate, staying within that target heart rate range that I talked about last time. At 220 miles your age, get a certain percent of what you want to get. Try and stay about 60, 65%. All right, 10 more miles to go for you two. So, yeah, got a couple people out there doing some exercise. Very smart. So, last video, we talked about how the physical therapy profession, financially is doing, how healthcare is changing again, what they'll reimburse for, what they won't reimburse for. Your therapist can make all these plans for you to get yourself better or not. And unfortunately, if the insurance company ain't going to pay for it, they're not going to do it. Or they're going to say, hey, we can do this particular treatment plan. You're going to pay out of pocket. So a lot of the profession, I don't say a lot, it's, especially it's in clumps. If you're in a major city or a hub like where we are in Raleigh, Durham, you have some more cash flow, so you can obviously have that particular that particular clientele to pay for that service. So you're like, what the heck doesn't the insurance pay for? Well, the insurance company don't pay for a lot of things. Let's start out with a couple. 3 things these insurance companies tend not to want to pay for anymore. Number 1, hot packs and cold packs. Insurance companies used to pay for hot packs and cold packs back in the day, and I'm talking like mid 90s, 1990s. That's right, you went to physical therapy. You got a hot pack on you for about 10 minutes or so. And then you got on the bike or treadmill or something like that. They might do some hands-on soft tissue mobilization, some exercise depending on what it was, and then finish up with some ice. You might even do some elliptical stim back in the day. Now, that's number 1. They don't pay for that no more. So guess what? More and more. You ever go to physical therapy? Probably not going to do that. Very rarely will they do that anymore. And if they do it, they usually have either probably an aide, not even the physical therapist assistant, probably the aide that's doing it. And it's after treatment's over. And they've probably working with 2 or 3 other people at the exact same time. So that's number 1. Number 2 thing that they don't really pay for anymore: electrical stim. Unless you have a specific diagnosis, more times than not, the insurance company is not going to pay for the electrical stim. And if they do pay for the electrical stim, you're only going to pay for a certain amount of times that you have it done. Let's say you went to therapy 5 times, or the prescription plan is 6 times. And they'll go ahead and you might pay for the most amount the first 2 or 3 times, and then the reimbursement goes down. That's what's happened. So now there are some units that we're talking about muscle re-education or a stroke, then that's possible. But more times than not, no. That's number 2 that you really don't pay for anymore. It's nice out here today. People don't like it because it's a little cooler, but I don't mind it. It's going to get hot soon enough here in North Carolina. Number 3. The third thing they really don't pay for anymore is therapeutic exercise. That's right. I'm going to say it, folks. And what I mean by that is they do pay for it, but it's diminishing returns for reimbursement. So, and I'm referring to Medicare specifically in this example. So they'll pay that first level, that first bill, whatever it is, they'll pay for the 100%. And after that, it just goes right down. Doom, 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 doom. Drops dramatically what the reimbursement is for just therapeutic exercise. 1. 2, the insurance company, I mean referring to Medicare, sees you as an agency or a clinician billing a client or / patient, whatever you want to call yourselves, 5, 6 units, a unit being 15 minutes, therapeutic exercise. You're going to consider that a red flag. And you're probably, if you get audited, you're probably going to have to give some of that money back. And guess what? They're going to hunt for your other charge, your other patient stuff. They're going to be like, okay, well, so you're doing this too. And so there's been some companies that went out of business for that. So one company called Health South back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Health South was a big company. And Medicare crushed them. They were a multi-million-dollar company. Well, guess what? Medicare wanted millions and millions of dollars back because they considered it fraudulent billing. So that's number 3. So I'm going to tell you the other stuff that you don't even hear of anymore. That physical therapy used to do. It doesn't do it anymore because they don't get paid for it. Hi, sir. How you doing? Oh yeah. 6 feet above ground is always good. That's right. Dude. I like that, sleeping indoors. You haven't had the long-term slumber. Take care. Uh, so let's go over a few things that people don't even know. Infrared. Infrared is paid for, and it's used as a thermal modality. Excuse me. Basically, it's the same idea as ultrasound. So that's paid for every once in a while. Oh, that's a cool little bug. Guess what's not paid for? UV light. Like what? UV light? Yeah, physical therapy used to do used to do UV light. Excuse me. What they use it for? Psoriasis. Patients who had psoriasis or some sort of dermatitis, physical therapy used to evaluate and treat that and treat it with UV light. And we're talking like late 80s, early 1990s, before the initial Healthcare Act where they changed everything. Basically, all they did is they cut back, just like they're doing again, what they'll pay for, what they won't pay for. So companies need to change with the times. So that's UV light. Never heard of it. Most people are like, what? Really? Yeah. Another one. Diathermy. What the heck is diathermy? Well, gas diathermy, where it was this giant machine, and it had two plates, and they were magnetized. And so you would put these 2 plates. They used it a lot for back pain because they were huge and they could really encompass the whole back versus an ultrasound machine, just the size of the head, or what we call the transducer head. So, yeah, diathermy. And that was used basically to heat up the tissue, a deeper tissue. And because the thermal heat from just a hot pack, it doesn't go that deep. Even moist heat doesn't go that deep. But diathermy did. Well, back in the 90s, early 90s, they stopped paying for it. Why? They said there wasn't any benefit to it. They said there's, they went, they referring to the insurance companies, well, these researchers that says, oh yeah, exercise, a 5-minute warm up gives you the same depth as diathermy. Well, guess what? The patient can't tolerate getting getting up to the muscle's temperature by exercise or warm up. Then guess what? You would do this treatment so that you can progress towards that particular exercise piece. But all they were looking at is money, 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 money. So that's the reality of it. So that's the first problem. So that's 3 of them right there. So we had UV light, diathermy, we had hot packs that you don't pay for anymore, cutbacks on what we consider therapeutic exercise, cutbacks on reimbursement on that. So there's a lot of things that they cut back on. One on, popped off. Whew. Now you need to do is just get your clay bar out. Get that clay bar out, you'll be good to go. So just want to come out here, kind of give you guys a little education for the day. I had one that came out. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a couple more after the fact. But I think if I give a little education to voice like this, if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. What you want me to talk about? I'm gonna continue to come up with some conversations, but that's a huge one that people don't talk about. Like, what's the insurance gonna really pay for? What did we used to do back in the day that we don't do anymore? And it has nothing to do with how effective the treatment plan was. In fact, the insurance companies won't pay for it, so we stop doing. We start figuring out other ways or other techniques. Now the big one out there is, the last probably 5 to 10 years is dry needling. Dry needling is the catch-all. That manipulation. Oh, everybody needs to have a joint manipulation. Therapists are starting to sound like chiropractors. I mean, yeah, I learned it in school. A lot of times it's not even appropriate to do it. So that's for another time. I'd love to have a whole conversation on mobilizations, versus manipulation. And what the heck's that really mean? Because those words are used interchangeably, and they're 2 totally different types of treatment plan. Excuse me. But these therapists or these chiropractors end up billing it under the same thing. Oh, it's a mobilization. It's manipulating. No, 2 different things. You can't. So maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow, depending on how if I get out here early enough. But all right, I'll talk to you guys next time. Until next time, look up and keep smiling. Bye, folks.